This is a lore video explaining the history of Maya Sundaresh. Maya's story is one of the most branching stories in the Destiny lore due to her connections with Golden Age tech and the Vex. My goal for this video is to not give you a full story, but to show you what points lead to key events in Destiny's lore, and how Maya's journey in the Golden Age is still sending ripples through today. Hopefully you learned something about Maya, and this video explains why she is important to the lore. It starts with the Ishtar Collective on Venus. Maya is the head of a research team focused on researching the Vex on Venus, and the team members are Maya, Chioma Essie, Dr. Shim, and Dwayne McNead. They find a Vex mine and capture it for research purposes. They figure out that the Vex mine is simulating them, and they worry that they may be a part of the simulation themselves. They devise a plan to get Rasputin to confirm they are real, because they assume the Vex cannot replicate something so complex. After doing this, they make simulations of themselves and send them into the Vex network. 227 copies for research. The copies enter the Vex net and get stuck. This is where it gets confusing, because there's 228 Mayas now, and they all meet different fates. I will split this video into 4 categories: the Praedyth route, the Clovis route, the real Maya, and the future war cult. The first is the Praedyth route. The copies of the research team end up stuck across time and space in the Vex network, stuck inside of the Black Garden. They attempt to make contact with anyone who can save them. This leads them to Praedyth, stuck inside of the Vault of Glass. Praedyth constructed a device to allow him to speak to the Vex team from his prison within the Vault of Glass. Praedyth was a part of the original fire team that went into the Vault of Glass, and was lost to time in the Gorgon's maze and almost completely erased. He assisted them in navigating the Vex net and saved most of the team's duplicates by allowing them to step through a Vex gate to who knows where. He also sends No Time to Explain back to the D1 player in the Taking King mission through the Vault of Glass and using Future War Cult to help you obtain it. Section 2 is on the Clovis route. Clovis Bray is working to create the Exos on Europa when he finds a witness statue, which he calls Clarity Control. Being near the darkness tech gives visions and hallucinations. It's also good to know at this point Clovis is using tech to survive and stay alive to finish his research. Clovis confides in Maya for help on the Exo program, and she helps him develop the first Exos, but not before he realizes that she isn't real, and that the Maya he was talking to was a Vex infection that had corrupted his mind. This is possibly a duplicate, or maybe an imprint that the Vex made because she spent so long in the Vex net. I'd also like to mention in the Clovis section of this video that Maya plays a role in Cade's story. She is the Vex researcher that he falls in love with and never gets to confess his love to. He uses playing cards to remember important things in his life, and he assigns her the hearts for the love that he could never have. Maya grinds away at Clovis's mental health as he edges closer to figuring out the Vex and the Darkness combo that burst the first Exos. Section 3 is on the real Maya. Maya continued with her Vex research with her team. Elsie Bray, or the Stranger, met with her on occasion to talk about Clovis's Vex issue. She went to Tibet and made a device using Vex tech that allows the user to see the future and started a small cult. She was brought in the joint effort of Ishtar and Bray on the Echo project and was instrumental to making the Augur Mind. The Echo project was a colony program like the Exodus project. Echo ships were fitted with exo worker frames and SIVA for rapid colonization of distant planets. The Augur Mind project was a creation of an AI using Vex tech to make a clairvoyant AI to predict the worst and work alongside Rasputin. Maya was integral for both of these projects. The Augur Mind was named Soteria, and she predicted the collapse for Rasputin and launched the Echo ships and the Exodus Indigo ship. The Exodus Indigo ship was set off to Neptune and barely made it as the other ships in the Echo project were returned by Clovis, and Soteria was forced to divide herself into a sub-mind as a ship AI because Clovis was trapping her in the Spire Pillory bunker in Spire of the Watcher. Maya and Chioma Essie were on the Exodus Indigo and survived the collapse. They picked up on a Vex distress beacon and moved towards it, but were attacked by a creature using the Winterbite exotic glaive. Upon arrival, it was salvaged. Maya and Essie arrive on Neptune and found a device they called the Veil. They couldn't understand it. Maya named it the Veil because she heard a whisper when she saw it for the first time, in her own voice. Touching the Veil causes immediate brain death, and the radiation it emits reverses the clarity effect in exos, making them billboard. Billboarding is a repeating of actions and phrases before tearing themselves apart due to loss of control and gyration. Maya calls the Veil, quote, our salvation. The Siva from the Exodus Indigo worked hard to contain the Veil and build shelter for the colonists next to the Veil containment, but not before the final exo succumbed to the radiation effects and the bodies were quarantined for research. Maya wants to find a way to extract power from the Veil, and Essie is worried that they're in too deep. The Vex attack the researchers, but the radiation from the Veil slows the Vex time effects. The Vex make a simulation over Neptune to hide the colony and themselves from outside attack. Maya believes that the Veil is unraveling exominds like Clarity does, but believes that she can do the opposite to write code into the dead exominds and revive them. Maya and Essie work with dismantled Vex tech and dead exominds to create an advanced Siva that is immune to the radiation of the Veil, stating that Siva network is similar to the Radiolaria Vex mines. Maya plans to use dead exos to unscramble data and fire it into a conductor's seat. That way, the data is understandable. Essie breaks down in a voice log. She thinks this is too far. A test is executed. All people who used the device died, and Maya seems unfazed the fact that they killed the entire research team. Maya seems to have figured something out from their deaths and manages to stream her own mind into one of the dead exos, Lakshmi 2. Lakshmi 2 now speaks with Maya's voice and has her memories. Essie thinks the two of them are keeping something from her. Section 4. The Future War Cult. The Future War Cult was made by Maya with her device that she made in Tibet. Followers gathered and it became a major part of the consensus in the Lost City. The leader of the cult was Lakshmi 2, and they used a process called brain forking to see future threats. The cult was dismantled after the events of Season of the Splicer, when it was found to have disrupted code and was influenced by Savathun to make the Vex invasion of the tower. Lakshmi 2 died in the process.